Okay, back from a quick hiatus, and I guess I'm gonna read this. This does not look. I don't know this. We all go to Bethlehem. French carol. Okay, it's looking a little intense. I know I'm not gonna look too closely. I will mention this is something that I do that I don't necessarily think is a great idea for everybody when they're practicing sight reading. Generally, a good practice is to look over a piece. Um, Especially look for the roadmap. Make sure everything. If you have something. I mean, I couldn't help but notice there's a DC because there's a Fine right at the top. Um, but especially look, for first and second endings, things like that, and be prepared for that stuff. But then also, um, look for tricky figures. I also couldn't help but notice amongst all of the 16th notes that there are some there's some intense accidentals. So that's something that normally I would recommend somebody look very closely at and try to figure out ahead of time. If you have the ear training, you might try to sort of get your ear wrapped around what the tonality of the piece will be. Is it going to be major or minor at the very least? And then if your ear training is a little better, you can kind of get audiate a little more of the piece for yourself, so that you're not running into as many sudden jarring things. Now, I specifically don't do this. I try to not look over the pieces because I find myself in a lot of gig situations where I do just get thrown a piece of music and I don't get to look at it. And so in my sight reading practice, I try to go in cold and get myself really used to that system shock of suddenly turning the page and hitting something I did not see coming that is throwing my ear off, and I'm questioning myself, and like suddenly I'm like, oh God, what is this? And I'll try to fix it after the fact. But yeah, that's the reason I do that. I generally would not recommend that people do that for hobbyist practice. It's better to look over things and know what's coming. You'll make less mistakes than I'm making. All right, let's start this. Ooh, some big jumps right off the start. No. Oh, here's this. Wow, that's a big. What? I'm looking at my hands because what the heck? What? That is what's written, right? Oh, that sounds more right. Okay. Also, you'll figure out better fingering choices from the start. You might notice things that need to have certain fingers in certain places. You might even want to write in some fingerings. I definitely know there are some people who are very people who are going to work on a new piece will spend like 30 minutes making sure they're going over the whole thing and audiating and writing in fingerings and really thinking about stuff before they put their hands on the keyboard. I think that makes a certain amount of sense to somebody playing at a specific performance level. Like if you were slightly more in the classical concert performance end of things, that makes sense, because then if you've made those choices ahead of time, you basically never play a mistake, or you have less excuse to ever play a mistake in your practice. And to some degree, your hands only know what it feels like to play it right. However, that is not a luxury that most working pianists get, because sight reading is bread and butter for them. And so that's just never going to happen. Like, there's too many situations I'm not going to get the music ahead of time and be able to sit there and have 30 minutes per piece to write in fingerings before I sit down and read it. So anyway, let's read this again. I'll be a little less jarred by that little do-dee-doo-dee-doo, or is it do-die-do-die-doo? Okay, that was a little weird. sounds less jarring at a quicker tempo too. That went better than last time. Okay, let's give another read. This is actually kind of a cute little tune. Key signatures matter. Oh my god, okay. I missed every one of those A's and then I just kept messing up. Okay, let's try. There it is. And then I guess we would do the intro again. My hands. That's kind of a big jump. Okay, that was a cute little piece.